This video will demonstrate how to use the geoprocessing operation clipping to remove data outside of the borders of an area of study. So, for starters, using Kansas as an example, let's just say that looking at Kansas data, I'm going to bring in a couple of things here. Bring in, say, for instance, fire stations. And you see, wow, there's just a lot of fire stations there, but I really want to focus on Riley and just ignore, well, ignore such a bad word. There was no need for me to do the study outside of Riley County of whatever I want to do. Okay, so the question is, how do you find the area that you want to study? Let me turn off fire stations here. So now, let me put the viewer on the spot here. Let's just say you wanted to find out where Riley County, Kansas is. Well, I'm sure your mind is just bursting with ideas saying, oh, I know how to do this. But just in case you need a couple of reminders. One thing you can do is, in the layer in question, you could always just label features. There you go. The cheater's way out of it, okay? You just simply label and then you can read it, okay? By the way, cheating is such a bad word. Let me go ahead and turn off the labels. Another thing you could do too is if you right click and go in the attribute table, and if you wanted to just, where are you at here, Riley County, amongst all these, there we go. If you just did a sort ascending, and you go to Riley and you highlight that polygon, there you go. So what I did is I just went into the attribute table and I went over to the field that has a name of the different counties, and I just went sort ascending, so they're alphabetical, and I found Riley and I just highlighted it. Okay, so there's that way also. And let me go ahead and put order back on the landscape here, like so. Okay, there we go. Now, and let me clear select features. Okay, so I went in selection, I clear selected features, because let me show you another way. Let's just say you went into, and by the way, hopefully this is review, wherever you're at in your skill sets in GIS, these are the kind of things you really should make sure you have under your belt, and these are just very simple inventory operations here. Now, another way that you could find out where the county would be, if you went to selection, went to select by attributes, and I went to county and went to name equals, okay, and what I'm doing here is this. I am setting up a alphanumeric statement. Boom. Select by attributes, layer was county, and identified the feature, the field name, and then I just simply create an equation here. Nice and simple. Name equals Riley, and I click OK. And look, there it is again also, okay. And I'll clear selected features. And also, if you went to find, whenever it decides to work, that's what you get for using an old computer. Okay, take your sweet time. Okay. And I could have typed in Riley here. And oh yeah, so there it is. Okay. Look at that. Okay, ta-da. So, what I'm trying to share with you is this, everybody. When it comes to your GIS skills, when it comes to identifying a certain polygon, point or line feature, I'm sure that somewhere in your experience you know how to do it. You might have to get rid of a little bit of rust, but you can do it. So, let's just say again, back to Riley. I want to do this study of Riley, so I'm going to, I know Riley's right here, so I'm going to click on select feature, and boom, I selected it. Okay, that's my quick and easy way of selecting it. Now, for the clipping process, you're going to need a cookie cutter. Okay, you're going to need something that's going to set up the boundaries of what's going to be clipped. And so, if I want to only have data within Riley County, that right now this data is statewide, but I just want it within Riley. Number one, target selected, but number two, I've got to break this out, even though there's a way around this, but this is, trust me, folks, you really want to at least initially utilize this method until you become more familiar with or feel at ease with the software when it comes to doing it in a different way. You identified the polygon, it's selected, and now I'm going to go to County here in the table of contents. I'm going to left click, and I'm going to go to Data, and I'm going to export it. And I'm going to click on the Browse button here. And let's see what we got. Oh my gosh, look at the clutter I have in my computer. Needs a good cleaning, folks. 1 second, please. And, okay. Worth waiting for. Now, for this example, I created another feature data set. Because I'm going to be breaking things out into the county of Riley County, Kansas, I created a new feature data set. If you haven't watched the previous video, then this is brand new. But anyway, the bottom line is, just for organizational purposes, I created a feature data set just for the data that I'm going to be clipping out of here. And I will call this Riley_County, CO. So that way I know what it is. I click Save, and I click OK. You want to add this data? Sure thing. Okay, and there it is. And by the way, how rude of me. For those of you who are just coming to this video for the first time, didn't see the one that was associated previously with it, you'll see that the geodatabase that I'm working with, it's a Kansas geodatabase that there is a variety of state data that has been loaded within it. And also, you'll see that in this geodatabase, I just created a new feature data set called Riley. So that way I can start putting in the clip data for Riley County. This is a nice thing to do, so that way you don't just put it into one big feature data set, because, well, it might be cumbersome. Now, here is that polygon, the brand new polygon that was created. And here it is. It's called Riley County. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. I'm going to clear selected features. I could do it like this by going to Tools bar and click on that icon. Or if you like menus, you can go to Selection and clear selected features, like so. There. Now we've got that polygon, and now we have something that we can use for the clipping process. Now, okay, it's time to do some clipping. And I've already loaded up fire stations for the state of Kansas. You see right there. And so how do we get rid of them? What we're going to do is this. If you go to geoprocessing right here, you're going to find this also if you go into the toolbox. You'll find clipping there too, but this is very convenient. Go to geoprocessing and go to clip. So now how do we set this up? The input features is what's going to get cut. Okay, it's what's going to get clipped. So ultimately, it's what's going to be acted upon. So the input feature for this example is going to be fire stations, because there's going to be few of them after this is all over with. The clip feature is the cookie cutter. It's what's going to be doing the cutting. So we pick Riley County. Okay, that's the brand new polygon that was exported out, and it's going to be used as the boundaries of the cutting. Now, output features. And just please make sure that as you look at this, it's going to where you want it to go to. And on my computer, it tends to have a mind of its own and want to put things in different places. So I'm going to navigate over to my geodatabase. Where are you again? Okay. Again, building up confidence in how I store my data, watching me navigate through my computer. 1 second, please. There you are. Okay, going to Kansas. And over to Riley. Once again, Riley County. Okay. So I navigate to where I want to put it, and I'm going to call this Riley Fire stations. Okay, so Riley underscore fire underscore stations. I click save. Okay, I like that. Then I click OK. Go get it. And now down here in the lower left, you saw for a little while the ticker tape showing the operation in motion clip. And it says, hey, it worked out just fine. And now you see Riley fire stations over here. So I'm going to turn off the other fire stations, the original one for the entire state. Boom. And now you see one that is just for, there you go, zoom in a little closer, just for Riley. So everybody, that is now, okay, now that the Riley County polygon was created, you saw that I was able to utilize that and clip out all the, or maybe say clip in all the points that I wanted and remove the ones I didn't. Now, let's do this one more time. I'm going to bring in the state highway system. And one more example here, so that way you're not going to say I didn't show you twice. Zap. Okay. And there's the state highway system. And we want to get rid of everything outside of Riley. So once again, I'm going to go to geoprocessing. I'm going to go to clip. Input feature. State highway. Clip features, once again, Riley County. And it still didn't learn where it's supposed to go. So output feature, I'm going to navigate one more time. Okay, it's being nice to me. It went right to it. I'm going to call this Riley underscore HWY, highway. And with time, when you're working with GIS data, everybody, you're going to develop your own naming conventions. This is just the way I do things to name it. But please, when you're naming data, make sure it's intuitive. Make sure that you could look at it and say, ah, okay, I know what you're talking about, okay? You don't want to confuse yourself just by calling it something very generic. And especially, be careful if the system says, well, I just want to call it output 1 or 2. Oh, wow, you're going to give yourself a real headache if you do that. So I call it Riley Highway, and I click Save. Everything looks good. Go for it. Okay, there's the clipping on the bottom. You saw that it was working, and it tells me that it worked. So let me turn off, what do I have? State Highway. I'm going to turn the state highways off. Aha! Look at that. Life is good. Now I have the highway system that is within Riley County as well as the fire stations. Everybody, in general, that is how you clip layers.